Howdy, howdy. My name's Trishaly. Welcome to the Common Sense Cowgirl. I'm back. Actually, never really went anywhere, but I had my computer crash, and so it took me a while to get that fixed, and then I kind of just left it alone. But I figure I have to weigh in now because people are seriously confused about these shootings. They seem so random, and there's this big propaganda push for race war, and I just think I have to give my opinion and help people understand like what's really going on here. I had a YouTube channel shut down, but my backup channel, I just uploaded 2 videos that pretty much explain everything that's going on right now. As far as these shooters, and I think even the jihadists, I think if you look into MK Ultra, it really explains it all, because I just don't, nobody can fathom or understand how people could commit these heinous acts of violence. But if you understand MK Ultra, what it was meant for and how it's been operating, and how Democrats and Republicans have virtually been in bed with each other against the people, then all of the political unrest and the just weirdness, just the craziness that's going on totally makes sense. I don't believe that there is Islamic terrorism. I don't believe that there's domestic terrorism. I do believe that rogue members of CIA, FBI are not only spying on all of us, but are basically creating these Manchurian candidates that are going out and suicide bombing and shooting and creating this fear. And if you understand there's an agenda behind it, like for example, if you do a little research into the Patriot Act, which was passed after 9/11, the thing was written months, maybe even years before 9/11 even happened. So just to realize that they had this bill sitting there collecting dust, and in the Century for a New America organization or something like that, they had written in there that they needed a new Pearl Harbor in order to pass this legislation that would limit people's freedoms and open up the ability for warrantless spying and all of this kind of stuff. And I think that that event was a big eye-opener for people, because if you realize that 2 airplanes knocked to the ground 3 buildings, you just know there's something doesn't smell right there. And that was basically my moment of revelation that kind of made me realize that, okay, once I heard about this 3rd building that collapsed on 9/11, I was like, okay, something real fishy is going on here. And that led me down the rabbit hole to realize that propaganda has been foisted upon the people of the world, and it's just created this unbelievable dissociation with reality for a lot of people. And it's understandable. I think we've all been there, because basically since its inception, television, radio was designed as a propaganda tool. They literally had studied flicker rates and how to be able to program ideas into people's minds through the television before they ever market it and allowed people to purchase and bring this propaganda into homes. So just wanted to weigh in and let you all know about these videos I uploaded. And if you listen to these 2 women's stories and understand how, even if only a fraction of what these ladies similarly say about the U.S. government and basically the global control that we've all, whether we know it or not, under, you'll understand a lot, because it's unfathomable that someone would go in and or in Las Vegas, like this guy is just like randomly shooting people at a concert. It really doesn't make any sense unless you understand Project Monarch and all the propaganda that's been foisted upon people.
This article: Vegas killer Stephen Paddock's prostitute lover vanished before deadly shooting spree. She was scared something would happen to her. I'm going to read part of this right here. Basically, it says a prostitute that was last seen with Paddock, and it says right here that just before the rampage, Paddock began sending bizarre text messages to another of McCullough's Cowgirl pals, showing he was becoming completely unhinged and paranoid. There's messages where Stephen is telling her he's a government experiment, and they are listening to everything he says and does, and they can hack into his brain and take over. So that's the information that was coming out on all this. And now the girl that he was with is gone, and she's probably been killed to tie up loose ends because she was the one telling all her friends that he was under mind control.
So I figured I better make another one of these videos and let people know, because I know a lot of people who are still inside the matrix are like, what is going on? It really, really, really doesn't make any sense at all unless you're aware of these secret government programs. And, you know, some people are going to say, oh, well, that was a long time ago. They're not doing that anymore. What possible motivation would these people have to stop perpetrating this stuff? Nobody's been held accountable. Nobody's gone to jail. No, whistleblower Kathy Bryan's testimony on the subject was banned for reasons of national security. So the thing is that, you know, a robber or a drug addict, they're not going to stop doing what they're doing unless they have some kind of consequence. And basically this whole shadow government, deep state, new world order, whatever you want to call it, they haven't had any kind of haven't been held responsible for the crimes and the things that they've been doing. So why would they stop? So for those of you that say, oh, that's an old program, doesn't exist anymore. Well, it's been declassified as an old program. But
this report I received today is a monumental document in more ways than one. But it is a very, very important piece of America's history, and it will shape America's future in ways that will make us a more honorable, more successful, and more ethical country. Thousands of government-sponsored experiments did take place at hospitals, universities, and military bases around our nation. The goal was to understand the effects of radiation exposure on the human body. While most of the tests were ethical by any standards, some were unethical, not only by today's standards, but by the standards of the time in which they were conducted. They failed both the test of our national values and the test of humanity. Informed consent means your doctor tells you the risk of the treatment you are about to undergo. In too many cases, informed consent was withheld. Americans were kept in the dark about the effects of what was being done to them. The deception extended beyond the test subjects themselves to encompass their families and the American people as a whole. For these experiments were kept secret, and they were shrouded not for a compelling reason of national security, but for the simple fear of embarrassment, and that was wrong. So today, on behalf of another generation of American leaders and another generation of American citizens, the United States of America offers a sincere apology to those of our citizens who were subjected to these experiments, to their families, and to their communities. When the government does wrong, we have a moral responsibility to admit it. The duty we owe to one another to tell the truth and to protect our fellow citizens from excesses like these is one we can never walk away from. Our government failed in that duty, and it offers an apology to the survivors and their families.
Apology? Thanks, Bill, but where's the accountability?
the current programs that are going on, they're not telling us about it. They're just not. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. Please check out the links to these two powerful audiobooks in the description. Go out there and have an amazing day. And if I don't see you in the future, I'll see you out in the pasture. And I want everybody out there to know that I'm a firm believer that in this life, absolutely anybody can be, do, and have anything they want. Or we can have everything we want. And I choose everything, and I hope you will too. So ask me how. Thanks for watching.